Americans who survived the Mexico kidnapping will return to their home in South Carolina today. And in sports, the Federal Hockey Lancers played in their first regional semifinals in 53 years last night. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening, I'm Reese Thompson. Welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. The Gallia County Sheriff's Office is investigating a shooting overnight at a local housing complex. Sheriff Matt Champlin says the shootings occurred around 8:30 p.m. last night at the Gallia Metropolitan Estates housing complex. When deputies arrived at the scene, they found one person with a gunshot wound. Champlin says one person has been detained. The investigation is still ongoing. Also in Gallia County, the Ohio State Highway Patrol is investigating a school bus crash, leaving 4 people injured. Troopers say the crash occurred just after 3 p.m. yesterday near Centenary and Vanco Road. Of those injured, 3 are students and 1 is an individual in a different vehicle. The students were taken to the hospital for their injuries. At the moment, there is no update on the status of the 4 injuries. OHSP says the investigation into the crash is ongoing.
Good evening, Athens. Currently, we're looking at 48 degrees. Clear skies, winds moving around 3 miles an hour, so we're expecting those temperatures to stay calm overnight, so you can maybe need a jacket if you're planning on going out today. Looking at our current surface analysis map, we can see Ohio is currently sitting under a high pressure system that's really pushing those clouds away, really bringing those clear skies that we saw today. Now looking at our current radar map, we can see those clouds really sitting in our area and that high pressure really pushing them southward, pushing them away from us, leaving those clear skies for us to enjoy today. Looking at our overall temperature map for the past 24 hours, we can see Athens dropped to a low of around 23 degrees, but as the day continues on, we can see moving into the 40s and 50s for Athens area and the surrounding regions. Looking at Athens today, we saw partly sunny skies with a temperature high of around 49 degrees and a temperature low of 25. Athens tonight, we can expect an overnight low to hit around 25 degrees and mostly clear skies. More in my full weather later. Now back to the desk.
Teachers in Morgan local schools are set to resume contract negotiations on Friday. Members of the Ohio Association of Public School Employees Local 51 has been on strike for a week. At issue is the amount of pay increases. Students finally returned to in-person classes yesterday, but the district says attendance was at 49%, far below the usual 97% level. A new House bill could change the way courts handle custody agreements in Ohio. Representative Rodney Creech says his bill would have courts look at the possibility of equal parenting instead of one parent receiving full custody. The bill does include safeguards for keeping children away from unfit parents once those accusations are proven. The Republican says equal parenting is better for the well-being of kids. The bill is supported by the Ohio Parents Association. Coming up, more details come out on the kidnapping in Mexico of 4 Americans. Plus, recent flight safety incidents turn up the heat on the FAA for industry improvements. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
Why Chillicothe? Why this area? For some reason, this became a mecca for what was probably a religion, what we call Hopewell culture. We'll never know the reason that this was so important to certain people and why that developed, but it's certainly a beautiful place for it to have happened.
Thanks to viewers like you, we've been able to tell America's stories on this PBS station. Help us continue to tell these stories now and for future generations by including this station in your charitable plans.
Supporting this PBS station through a charitable gift annuity is easy. To find out more, call the number on your screen or visit this website. Thank you.
I am so honored and thrilled to have so many wonderful people on my show tonight.
Miss Yasmin Williams, Miss Sierra Hull,
Miss Emmylou Harris.
Yet you don't believe her when she says her love is dead. Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're all very welcome to our show here at the Theatre Royal and Castle Bar in County Mayo in Ireland.
The beloved Irish crooner returns to PBS with a new heartwarming concert. It's Daniel O'Donnell from Castlebar.
Thursday at 8 on WOUB.
One of the Americans who survived a kidnapping in Mexico, Latavia Washington McGee, is expected to come home today. Officials say McGee and 3 others were kidnapped at gunpoint last Friday while in the border of city of Matamoros. Gloria Pazmino has more on the investigation.
So I know this all hurt.
The mother of one of the Americans who survived a brutal kidnapping in Mexico says watching video of the abduction was terrifying.
Like trash, they throw them on the trucks, and I didn't like it, and I wanted to get to her.
Her daughter, Latavia Washington McGee, had traveled to Matamoros from South Carolina for cosmetic surgery, but they got lost searching for the clinic, and a group of unidentified gunmen fired on their minivan, loaded the Americans into their vehicle, and drove away.
Shahid and Zell and Eve, they all got shot at the same time, and she watched them die.
The friends were found days later at a home outside Matamoros. Shaid Woodward and Zindel Brown were dead. One official familiar with the investigation says their remains will be turned over to the U.S. government after a Mexican coroner completes a forensic examination.
Ultimately, we want to see accountability for the violence that has been inflicted on these Americans.
McGee and fellow survivor Eric Williams, who was shot 3 times, are already back in the U.S. where they received treatment at a Texas hospital. In Brownsville, Texas, I'm Gloria Pazmino.
The Department of Justice has issued a scathing report on the Louisville Metro Police Department. The review found Louisville police used excessive force and officers used unreasonable tactics. The report also discovered police executed search warrants without knocking and announcing. Attorney General Merrick Garland announced a review of the Louisville Police Department in 2021. Followed officer involved shooting that killed 26-year-old Breonna Taylor. In Louisville today, Garland says the Justice Department found police tactics violated the U.S. Constitution.
Reasonable cause to believe that Louisville Metro and LMPD engaged in a pattern or practice of conduct that violates the First and Fourth Amendments of the Constitution.
Taylor's mother responded to the Justice Department's findings by saying, quote, "Breonna's death is not in vain. LMPD has agreed to a court-enforced settlement with the Justice Department. The settlement aims at reforming the city's law enforcement." A new rule proposed by the Environmental Protection Agency aims at regulating wastewater from coal-fired power plants. The rule would regulate 3 types of wastewater generated at coal-fired power plants and address wastewater stored in coal ash ponds. In a statement, EPA Administrator Michael Reagan says discharged wastewater can contain toxic metals and other pollutants able to contaminate vital water sources. Reagan says the new rule will reduce toxic pollution by over 580 million pounds per year. If approved, the rule will not impact coal-fired power plants that already plan to stop burning coal by 2032. The acting chief of the Federal Aviation Administration on Capitol Hill is facing tough questions by lawmakers over several recent incidents involving airplanes on the ground and in the skies. Ivan Rodriguez has the latest.
From a near collision on the runway
2172 going around. American 2172, roger.
To unruly passengers mid-flight.
Tell them to bring SWAT to shoot me down because they're going to have to shoot me down today. Remember that.
The safety of air travelers remains center stage.
Well, we're seeing a system that is under stress.
Dennis Taser for the Allied Pilots Association says not only is the aviation system stressed to the max, there have also been many retirements and new people coming in.
We've got airlines scheduling us to the maximums. They're reducing pilot training. They are basically running along a barbed wire fence right up to the maximums, and we shouldn't be surprised when we see these safety seals start to leak.
On Capitol Hill Wednesday,
what the heck is going on in air travel?
FAA Acting Chief Billy Nolan facing questions about recent incidents on U.S. planes, specifically disruptive or violent passengers.
A zero tolerance policy around unruly passengers, misconduct in the air. It is just simply not allowed.
Nolan says next week the FAA will hold a safety summit in order to hear from stakeholders about how the agency can enhance performance, a conversation Tager says he's looking forward to.
We're hopeful that the safety summit may make a difference, but it's not going to be a comfortable space because we're fighting for our passenger safety.
The FAA understands and embraces the importance of continuously raising the bar on aviation safety.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
The FAA logs more than 2,300 reports of disorderly passenger behavior in the last year. Investigations were initiated in 823 cases, and 80 others were referred to the FBI for criminal review. Many adults in the U.S. may have chronic kidney disease and not know. That story is still ahead.
Low pressure begins to develop in the Texas area, what that means for us and more when Newswatch returns. In the meantime, be sure to check us out on social media at Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter.
Thanks to viewers like you, we've been able to tell America's stories on this PBS station. Help us continue to tell these stories now and for future generations by including this station in your charitable plans.
Supporting this PBS station through a gift in your will is easy. To find out more, call the number on your screen or visit this website. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're all very welcome to our show here at the Theatre Royal in Castlebar in County Mayo in Ireland.
The beloved Irish crooner returns to PBS with a new heartwarming concert. It's Daniel O'Donnell from Castlebar.
Thursday at 8 on WOUB.
Do you think that's the key thing missing in the conversation about climate change?
Learn a lot about the African American experience.
It's your palate, it's your taste, it's how you like to cook.
Look at all the colors.
Discovering stories of people.
Voices will be heard today.
People really see the message.
Such a shared experience.
The choice is yours.
You make the decision.
With Passport on the PBS Video app.
I am so honored and thrilled to have so many wonderful people on my show tonight.
Miss Yasmin Williams. Miss Sierra Home. Miss Emmylou Harris.
Yet you don't believe her when she says her love is dead.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
Good evening and welcome back. Athens, currently we're looking at 48-degree temperatures with mostly clear skies, winds moving around 3 miles an hour. So if you're planning on going out tonight, make sure to bring that jacket with you. Now looking at our surface analysis map, we can see the Ohio area sitting under a high pressure system, which is really pushing those clouds to the south and to the east of us. So we won't really be expecting any more clouds overnight or into tomorrow morning. However, looking around the Oklahoma, Texas area, we are seeing a low pressure system begin to develop, which is bringing some precipitation, and clouds for that region, which we currently aren't experiencing now. However, we may see that later this week. Looking at Athens today, we saw temperatures reach a high of 49 degrees with a temperature low of 25 with mostly sunny skies. Looking at our current radar analysis map, we can really see the effects of that high pressure system right over here in the Ohio area as those clouds and that precipitation to the west of us is really shoved to the south, leaving us with those lovely clear skies that we saw today. Looking at Athens tonight, we can expect that overnight low to hit 25 degrees with mostly clear skies. That clearing of the skies is really allowing for all that warmth that we saw from the sun today to really leave our area, dropping those temperatures almost in half from what we saw today. Looking at Athens tomorrow, we can see partly sunny skies as that high pressure lingers in our area for a little bit longer, with the temperatures reaching a high of 53, close to what we had today, and a temperature low of 37. Now looking at Athens tomorrow, we can see that low pressure system from the Oklahoma area begin to move into our region, bringing some snow and icy precipitation to the north of us. However, we are not expecting that to hit our area. We are expecting more of the rain that we currently see over in this area to hit us. Looking at tomorrow night, we can see that low pressure system continues to move towards the northeast, continue into our area, bringing up that precipitation. Now looking into Friday, that's really when we'll see that precipitation hit us with that low pressure sitting right on top of us, bringing some rain mostly Thursday night into Friday morning. However, it should be ending by Friday evening. Now looking at our 3-day outlook, we can see Friday with that 70% chance of rain with a high of 50 degrees, really Friday morning with a low of 27 degrees. Now looking at Saturday, we can see mostly cloudy skies with a high of 43 degrees and a low of 26 from that really rain-cooled air and from those clouds hanging over our region. Now looking at our 7-day outlook, we can see Sunday will be a 40% chance of rain with a high of 47 degrees and a low of 32. Now looking at Monday, we can expect to see a 20% chance of rain with a high of 45 and a low of 26. Tuesday, we can see mostly cloudy skies with a high of 41 degrees and a low of 22. Wednesday, we'll see mostly sunny skies with a high of 46 and a low of 24. Now, once again, going back to Friday, that 70% chance of rain, we are expecting that to begin around 1 in the morning. That rain should be light, really cooling that air for us with a high of 50 degrees. With that low pressure system really moving through. Right after that, following will be that cold front, which is bringing these temperatures that will really sit in that 40-degree area. Not quite bringing those spring temperatures that I know we're all looking forward to quite yet. However, those will be just kind of steady throughout the week. Now be advised for Sunday for that 40% chance of rain that could possibly happen into tonight and lead into Monday morning, which is why we're seeing that 20% chance of rain on Monday morning. However, that once again will be a light rain if that does end up occurring. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Emily. Opioid deaths in the United States have been steadily increasing for decades now. Those who have lost loved ones to overdose says more needs to be done. Mike Valerio reports.
It's a synthetic opioid intended to help patients manage severe pain, but fentanyl is now driving the drug overdose crisis across the country.
Fentanyl overdoses cause the equivalent of a new September 11th every 2 weeks.
Provisional data from the CDC revealing more than 2/3 of all overdose deaths are linked to synthetic opioids like fentanyl, leaving almost no community untouched.
It hurts every day.
It was something I had heard of, but not something I would have ever thought would have killed our child, ever.
While the federal government has declared the opioid crisis a public health emergency, there's a new push to target fentanyl and similar substances that are exacerbating the epidemic, including a proposed bill aimed at labeling Mexican drug cartels foreign terrorist organizations.
This problem is a national security threat. Fentanyl is a killer, and the people killing Americans reside out in the open in Mexico.
But some who have lost loved ones are taking matters into their own hands.
When my son died, I had never heard of fentanyl before.
Jaime Puerta lost his son Daniel to fentanyl poisoning in April 2020. He claims Daniel bought a fake pill from a dealer on Snapchat. Through his nonprofit called Void, Victims of Illicit Drugs, Puerta is working to raise awareness and change the conversation.
We have to look at it as a poison and not a war on drugs, but a war on fentanyl.
In Los Angeles, I'm Mike Valerio.
Around 37 million adults in the United States are estimated to have chronic kidney disease, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. In honor of National Kidney Month, Mandy Gaither goes over the symptoms and why treating it this early is critical in today's Health Minute.
It's known as a silent killer. In the early stages of kidney disease, many don't feel sick.
You can lose up to 75% of your kidney function before you begin to manifest symptoms.
The CDC says if kidneys don't work well, toxic waste and extra fluid builds up in the body. It can lead to high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, even early death. Symptoms that can appear in later stages of kidney disease include fatigue, muscle aches, swelling of face, ankles, or hands.
If you're diagnosed early, there are strategies available to keep your kidneys functioning as close to normal as possible, as long as possible.
That's why health experts say to know your risks of kidney disease and talk to your doctor about it.
If they have diabetes or high blood pressure or a family history of kidney disease, or if they have heart disease, or if they're over 60, they should talk to their healthcare provider to see if they've been tested, and if not, to be tested.
You can also protect your kidney health through a healthy lifestyle. That includes watching your weight, being active, and not smoking. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Coming up in sports, Federal Hockey Lancers took on Highland in the regional semifinals last night. Find out the results when Newswatch returns. And be sure to stay tuned to WOUB, as here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're all very welcome to our show here at the Theatre Royal in Castlebar and County Mayo in Ireland.
The beloved Irish crooner returns to PBS with a new heartwarming concert. It's Daniel O'Donnell from Castlebar.
Thursday at 8 on WOUB.
We are at Adena Mansion and Gardens. This is where Ohio history began. They're in their writing talking all night long about what they wanted Ohio to be. What type of state did they want Ohio to be? They wrote the Constitution, came out and saw the sun coming up over the Mount Logan Range. That is the inspiration for the Great Seal of Ohio.
Donate your car, truck, or boat today, and in addition to supporting the programs you love, you'll also qualify for our most popular member benefit, PBS Passport. With Passport, you can watch incredible documentaries and dramas from Masterpiece, American Experience, Ken Burns, Henry Louis Gates Jr., Nova, Nature, and more. So skip the hassle of selling that car you don't use anymore. Go online or give us a call right now to donate your vehicle.
Thanks to viewers like you, we've been able to tell America's stories on this PBS station. Help us continue to tell these stories now and for future generations by including this station in your charitable plans.
Supporting this PBS station through a gift of securities is easy. To find out more, call the number on your screen or visit this website. Thank you.
Hey there, I'm Joe Collins with sports. The talk of the town, not only the name of my favorite pizza joint back home, but that's what the Federal Hockey Lancers are as they played in the Division IV Sweet 16 last night at the Combo. This team of destiny battled hard and proved they belong up to the final seconds, but in the end fell just short to Berlin Highland, 55-51. The dynamic duo of Andrew Earhart and Turek Cottrell combined for 27 points, over half of the Lancers scoring. With the loss, the Lancers season does come to an end. However, head coach Jonathan Thompson says they can hold their heads high as they accomplish something their school hadn't done in over a half-century.
Kept preaching to them, like, guys, we're going to have to be in unreal shape to be able to play the way that we do. And they completely bought into it. Practice one, we come in, they set goals, and every one of them looked me dead in the eye and said, we're going to get that district title this year. And I'll be damned if they didn't.
It's March, which means the madness is about to begin. Just 3 days from now, 7 teams will be going home from the MAC tournament, and 1 will be going dancing, as the Ohio men's basketball team takes on Ball State tomorrow in the MAC tournament. This will be the second straight year the Cats and Cardinals face off in the MAC quarterfinals, with Ohio winning last year's match 77-67. Two teams met once this year back in January, with the Bobcats coming away with a 76-71 victory at home. Head coach Jeff Bowles said last Friday after the win against BGSU, they both have a similar play style, with dominant big men down low. For the Bobcats, that's Dwight Wilson III. For Ball State, that's sophomore Peyton Sparks. Both are top 5 in the MAC for rebounding and field goal percentage. Speaking of Wilson and Sparks, both were named to an All-MAC selection as the Mid-American Conference released its all-conference teams today ahead of the tournament. Wilson and Sparks were both named to the All-MAC second team. For Wilson, this is the second time being named to an All-MAC team, earning a third-team selection back in 2021. Wilson has averaged 15.9 points and 9.1 rebounds per game this season. Junior guard Jalen Hunter received all MAC honorable mentions. Elsewhere, the Ohio freshman class continues to be as advertised, as it earned 2 spots on the All-MAC freshman team, A.J. Brown and Elmore James. Around here, we love live sports updates. As for the Ohio softball and baseball teams, they're both in action today, with one completed, the other currently ongoing. We do have a final from earlier today in softball, as the Bobcats fell to Marshall in the annual battle for the bell, 6-4. The game was tied up at 4 until the bottom of the 5th, when Marshall's Grace Kelman tripled home 2 runs to give the Herd the lead, which they'd hold getting revenge on the Bobcats for their 8-7 victory last year. As for the Ohio baseball team, they traveled down to Lexington, where they're currently taking on the Kentucky Wildcats for some good old-fashioned SEC ball. As of the 8th inning, the score is 8-2 for the Wildcats. The Bobcats were looking to get an upset win as they stumbled out of the gate, losing 8 of their first 10 games to start the season. They will begin conference play this Friday against Bowling Green. Going back earlier today, Athens County announced that March 7th would be Federal Hawking Day. And Reese, you got the chance to cover the Lancers this year.
Yes.
It was really a special year for them.
Oh my gosh, seeing the development of this team from the beginning of the season to now, and even seeing that 18-game win streak, which is crazy. All of them have really just stepped up, especially Andrew Earhart. He made 2 key threes in the final quarter yesterday, and it was just phenomenal seeing the crowd. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they said the whole town of Stewart was at that game. The line for the combo, out the door.
Absolutely, and just think about this. 6 years ago, this Lancers team was 0-23. Now, because of their head coach, Jonathan Thompson, they won their first district title in over 53 years this season.
Yes, and I know Coach Thompson is super proud of them, and the team is so happy with the success they had this season.
Absolutely.
Now I'm going to toss it over for a final look at weather.
Thank you. Athens tonight, we're expecting mostly clear skies with an overnight low of 25 degrees. Since we are seeing that high pressure system sit over our area, that really brought in those clear skies, which is really dropping those temperatures for us tonight. And that high pressure system really pushed those clouds out of our region into the south and to the west of us. Looking around the Oklahoma region, we can really see that low pressure system begin to develop, bringing some precipitation that we aren't seeing right now, but we will see looking into Friday. Athens tomorrow, we can see temperatures of a high of 53 degrees and a temperature low of 37 as that high pressure system stays around a little bit longer, bringing partly sunny skies. Tomorrow night, we can see that low pressure system from Oklahoma begin to move into our region, bringing some precipitation into the area. However, in the upper Midwest, we can see some snow and ice begin to precipitate. However, that should be moving north of us. Looking into Friday, Friday morning is really when we'll begin to see that precipitation hit our region. However, that should end by Friday evening. Looking at our 7-day outlook, we can see a 70% chance of rain once again Friday morning, around 50 degrees for a high and a low of 27. Saturday, we can see mostly cloudy skies with a high of 43 degrees and a low of 26. Sunday, we'll expect a 40% chance of rain with a high of 47 degrees and a low of 32. Monday, we'll see a 20% chance of rain with 45-degree highs and 26-degree lows. Tuesday, mostly cloudy skies with a high of 41 and a low of 22. Wednesday, we'll see partly sunny skies with a high of 46 and a low of 24. From that low pressure system that we saw on Friday, we will be seeing that cold front moving through, which is really bringing in those temperatures into the 40s. So not quite those spring temperatures I know we're all looking forward to quite yet. However, still just steady temperatures.
Thanks, Emily. Finally, tonight, drinks across Athens are turning green in honor of Green Beer Day. The annual tradition is typically celebrated the week before St. Patrick's Day because the holiday usually falls during spring break. Some students use this day to skip class, enjoy the sun, and drink some green beer with friends all throughout the day and into the night. Green Beer Day is a tradition originating at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio in 1952. Well, I've seen a lot of stuff on campus today, a lot of green, and it's exciting to see.
Yeah, on the watch here, every single bar was just filled with people.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For all of us here at Newswatch, I'm Reese Thompson.
Donating your old car, motorcycle, or truck helps support public television, and it may get you a pretty nice tax deduction, too. Plus, we make donating